We are live and welcome to another episode here, the Fatboy FadeAway Sports Podcast, episode 139. Here I got my guy Brian, the main man Johnson. I got my brother here, Casey Briare. We're about to go over some of the sports topics that came in this week. Also, a big vacation for me this week. What I haven't had in a long time, Brian Johnson. So we're gonna go Disneyland review. LA, you're familiar with that area. Crazy area. I haven't been there in years. There's a lot to go over in LA. A lot of
they're very people were very considerate drivers in Los Angeles.
Man, I saw multiple times driving from obviously where I live to LA or to like Disneyland. It's like probably like 8 hours right to Anaheim. So maybe a little less if we're going really fast. And I remember like there's this one guy on the far left side. He cuts all the way to the right 5 lanes. I was, good Lord, man. He took out like 4 people along the way, but he made it and he probably got there on time. So that was good for him. He got his job. It's so crazy though, those on ramps and off ramps. That's the biggest difference I noticed from where we live. Like ours is pretty straightforward, like right, left. Yeah, it's pretty, but in LA, it kind of gets a little bit more, there's a little bit more like you can go left off of the ramp a little bit more than you go to the. So I was challenged there a little bit, even with GPS, man. Casey, have you done that driving all on time I-5?
It's been a minute. I mean, I went to Disneyland 10 years ago maybe, but I mean, I don't know. It was kind of a different drive for us because we're in our young 20s, so I don't remember the drive a whole lot, but we did.
You were doing that.
I'm telling you, take a Barbasol can of shaving cream, and it's not shaving cream. You're probably going to not remember that drive.
I'm not gonna remember that trip very well. No, but I'm telling you, on that I-5, it's just like brown mountains all the side this time of year. So you're driving there, and you're like, oh my god, we did this. So that was fun though. The vacation itself was great. I'll do a little Disneyland review here, kind of towards the end of the show. Go over some of the best parts, the best rides there. You guys could ask me some stuff like that.
I have to ask though, is that a treadmill behind you, Brian? I'm not sure what that is. What is it?
It's like it was supposed to be an elliptical machine that I never built.
Yeah, yeah. I just wasn't sure if it was an antique or an artifact. I was kind of confused.
There's probably a lot of people, Brian, that have done the same thing right there. About the machine, it's still there.
It was like when we were down in lockdown, and I was thinking about building it, but then right after I bought it, Newsom decided to let everybody work out again. I was like, that bastard.
Brian, I love Brian. Always has to get political there at the show. I love it. I appreciate the honesty. So I guess we can just do it right now. So so we're shooting out to LA there on that I-5, which is just a beyond boring stretch of road. You hit that Harris Wrench, nice smell of crap right there for about a good 30 miles there, Brian. Just shoots out there. Have you ever been to that Harris Ranch Resort on I-5?
No, I haven't been. It's like a restaurant, right?
It's like, well, like I said, it's a resort. It's the most random thing in the world. There you go there. It's like in the middle of God knows like cow country out there. And it's just this Olympic-sized pool, nice steakhouse, ranch. I mean, if you're familiar with our area, I'm not sure how far they sell. Obviously, probably to LA too, but Harris Ranch Steak. So we went to that place, but it's just this most random resort out in like a little past 2 hours kind of north of LA, 3 hours probably north of LA. Just insane, but it was good, man. We had a lot of fun on the trip there. It was funny when I was at Disneyland too. Like, me behind the wall, I always like try to collect stickers or pins and stuff like that, and try to put it up on the wall behind me. I was like, oh, I'll just get a sticker at Disneyland. They don't sell stickers anymore. I was like, out of all the things they sell there, they don't sell stickers there. I guess they said it was a custodial nightmare. Too many stickers left on the wall. That was the issue. And then as I'm leaving the hotel, Amanda's boyfriend Angelo, he gives me a call and he's like, Darren, your car is the reason that they don't put stickers. They don't put stickers at Disneyland. Because my kids have stickers and they put them on the side of our windows, and I have like 90 of them. So that was the main reason why, probably, in that regard. So anyways, we had a fun trip there. We got a couple people tuning in and watching here. Appreciate anybody that checks us out here on the show. Be sure to follow us here on at Fatboy FadeAway Sports over at Variety Sports Network. I'm going to be doing some new things there over there over the summer with Jimmy over there. Brian, our guy, the Cincinnati Bengals fan, we're going to be doing a new show, doing camp out there. I'll also be doing it with Brandon. And then, of course, me and Brian will be starting our football one here with Jimmy along shortly as well. Want to shout out our guy Savage from Hardaway. Looks like he had an announcement this week about getting birth of another child, or what do I say? Found out he's going to be having a boy. So just wanted to congratulate him. Obviously, they do good stuff there at the Hardaway. And Let's Be Real Sports. Also, our guys at Far Under the Bench, like I said, the other sports show. And there's so many out there. DA Seawood put out a new show this week. So be sure to check out all our guys that we always follow at Twitter. And we'll hopefully, they do the same for us and they support us. And we appreciate all that stuff. My guy Ant, all those guys, Adam, my mom, all those people that check in. Jay, hopefully he'll be starting to watch now a little bit more too. We can talk about him a little bit too. So, guys, with that said, before I get back into the trip later in the show here, let's go with the Nuggets a little bit. They end up winning Casey Game 4. Even with Jokic in foul trouble there, I was able to watch pretty much. That was the game I was able to watch the most. I kind of checked in on the other two. I was able to watch, obviously, Game 1. We talked about that last week. What did you think of the Nuggets here being 1 win away from the championship?
Just more talented overall. Just 1 through 15. Just everyone that comes off the bench, they're a threat to score. It's not that just defensive players, but Miami, to speak on their end, man, if they don't hit the 3 ball, it's tough for them to win. Robinson, Strus, and Vincent, when one of those do not go off or 2 of the 3, it's almost impossible for them to win. Bam and Jimmy, I think, have played okay. I think they've had a game or two where each one's played at a high level, but just Aaron Gordon getting 27, I think it was last game. That's huge anytime he can get extra buckets. But just, totality through the series, just watching it, you can tell Denver's just
they're superior.
Yeah, they are. They've been building up for this for about 4 or 5 years, and Jamal Murray with the torn ACL a couple of years ago kind of set them back. But, man, they just Jamal Murray, he's a hell of a ball player.
Is he a top 5 point guard now?
Man, he's got to be, right? Just the way he can shoot off the dribble, create his own shot. With the assists, first player, I think, in finals history to have 4 straight 10-plus assist games in his first 4 finals games appearances. They're just loaded all over the place, but he's the catalyst. Jokic, obviously, is just a beast. I call him the Jet Puff because he's the big marshmallow. He kills it, man. It's amazing to watch him. He looks like he's just playing in slow motion. No one can make him go at a faster pace than he wants to play at. And to shoot 47% from the 3 ball and actually shoot a pretty decent amount of them, it's pretty incredible to watch. We might be watching, I would say, probably a top 5 center of all time right now.
I said he'd probably at the end of the day on the Realism Sports Show. Shout out my guy there, Terrell. Also, our guys at House of Agenda there. They do a great job on their show as well. I kind of said I agree with you there. I think he might end up being a top 15 player of all time.
Yeah, dude,
and why not? Isn't he the best big man passer we've all ever seen?
Yeah, Vladdy's
other than Brian Johnson.
Brian's no-look shot and no-look passes.
Brian, the no-look shot. Brian, you had the best no-look shot. Nobody can shoot a no-look shot like you. It'd be money, free throws, right? Everybody knows we're taking Johnson there.
I still want to know what you were looking at this whole time.
I was looking at you, Casey.
Perfection.
Brian, have you been able to watch any of the games here this week?
Yeah, it just feels like Denver's the team this year, that they're just the best team out there.
Aaron Gordon, I apologize. Remember, Casey, right? When we first started this? I think I actually have probably a segment somewhere on the early shows of when he was probably still out of Orlando, where I said he was the worst contract in the NBA. I think that's what I said. But then you put him with one of the best players of all time, and he's almost a perfect sidekick along with Murray, right? The 3 of them, what they do differently, it just fits so well. And you have Jokic obviously running the whole thing.
They have a perfect setup as a team, and it's not Mike Malone. It is Michael Malone, so I don't want to defend him. But
I want Bruce Brown or whatever the hell guy. I want him on the Warriors, man. That guy's
Bruce Brown or which Brown are we talking about?
Not Ryan Braun. Remember, I call the one Ryan Braun, the right fielder from the Brewers. That's what I call Ryan Braun. I think it's Chris Braun. But
No.
I like Brown. I like the way he plays.
No, brother Bruce is amazing. Like I was just like, it's incredible to watch. Like to think that like the Nets had like that similar like just talent with KD, Kyrie, Harden, Bruce Brown. It's like I don't know. It's kind of weird just to watch the Nuggets play. It's
Casey, you're a big fan of the 20-piece chicken nuggets. What do you think of this question?
how seriously can we take it? Oh man, dude, I mean, anytime. I mean, this year, you can take them very seriously because to me, like the Nuggets are legit, man. I mean, that's like one of the like. That's such a ridiculous stuff. I can't even wrap my mind around that. I get a 20-piece after watching them play.
That's my guy Logan tuning in. Logan, your Rangers doing good, buddy. Hanging in there. He's actually a Cardinals fan too. Actually, I don't know if he is a Cardinals fan. Maybe he's more now that Molina's not on the team. Brian, I gotta say though, with the Gordon thing, it's so funny how like you could like really like be like this player who's like, oh, he's got all this talent and you can't do anything. And then you go play with better players. And what do you know? They actually get better. It's no shock in that regard. But what's your last thoughts here on the Nuggets Heat? Do you think the Heat can force a game 6? Or you think it's over now tonight?
No, I just think that the Nuggets are probably going to finish off the series. They just seem like a way more talented team. And it seems like
they throw chicken nuggets in the air onto the court. There you go.
It wasn't the only thing that Aaron Gordon was known for with the Magic was winning that dunk contest, right?
Yeah, that's probably a good call. Who won it? Aaron Gordon, but that was with the Magic. Yeah. He was probably definitely known for that more than anything else. Definitely.
I think that was 2016. So like 7 years ago.
Is that long ago? Good God.
Yeah.
I'm getting with short hair, Aaron Gordon. Well, Case, your thoughts.
Disneyland lasted a lot longer than you thought.
My God, I need a vacation from the vacation. What do you think, Case? You think the Heat, any chance they can force a game 6? I mean, our guys Vincent and Martin look like they've kind of come back to reality a little bit.
My heart of heart wants just more basketball. Like, yeah, I just want more basketball. That's all I want. But I don't. I'd see Denver just smashing them. I think it's going to be like a 20-point blowout. I think the Heat will hang in the first half, maybe be like a 6-point game. And even the Heat might be up by a few, but I just think Denver in the second half is just going to roll. Jokic he's too good right now, man. Like he's unreal. Like I don't think like.
Do you think the Warriors could have beat him?
Mark Jackson for not having him in the MVP? That is such slander, like such a joke. Do you think the Warriors? What were you saying?
I said, do you think the Warriors could have beat the Nuggets this year?
Hell no. No. I love the Warriors, but hell no. There's no way.
All right, good. You're realistic. That's good.
Nah,
We're being real. We're on the same page here.
Jordan Poole would have had more turnovers than assists. I mean, it would have been like a 130, 108 game, like almost every time. Their defense is atrocious.
I got to go to my guy Logan Stone here. It's too early, man. You can't be. Let's keep it under 100 characteristics here. We can't.
Man, this guy's comments, they're cracking me up right now. Peered into each other's soul. Like,
yeah, exactly. He's getting deep here at 8:25 a.m. I do. We'll get baseball a little bit more too, but he's enjoying the Reds and Rangers. Yes, they are. Reds got some new guys up. If you're following us on the audio, got our guy Logan Stone tweeting here or commenting in here on YouTube. Screw the Cardinals. I think most people out here would agree with that comment, even A's fans. So we're okay with that. Keep that energy. We like that. So Logan, again, appreciate you tuning in here this morning. So you guys we're all in agreement tonight. The Nuggets are celebrating with the W. They're winning it tonight on the home court. Our guys far into the bench, Jimmy and Nico, they're going to be celebrating Casey tonight.
I think it's Monday, the next game.
Is it Monday, Emmy?
Yeah. Monday.
Brian, again, the days are very confusing today. Let me double check you to make sure that you're right. But yes, go ahead, Case. What do you think?
I think Nuggets are going to be falling from the sky. They're just going to be – I think they should just, like, drop down, like, a huge bucket of nuggets as soon as they win. Just, like, all over the crowd, like, whatever Whatever the attendance is, if it's like 19,847, drop 19,847 nuggets.
Everybody, and what we sanitize the floor even after you walk.
Or it's like semi-pro when they scored over 100 points. Corn dog.
Corn dog. Yeah, what was that to get the corn dogs out there? The A's. Don't bring the A's. We'll talk about them as well a little bit here. Yeah, no. So that like I said, I think the Nuggets think it's pretty clear they're the best team this year. The Heat, they kind of had that San Diego State feel run to it college wise. I know they're obviously it's NBA, but they kind of chugged their way with close defensive matchups the whole round. Got through to get through the playoffs. They end up having an incredible run to get to where they're at now. But I think it comes to an end. I think it comes to an end today.
I just want to ask you guys, Darren, real quick. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Do you think the Heat got lucky with injuries, kind of getting into this finals? Because I think Milwaukee was the better team.
With the Bucks, yeah, but I think they were better than the Knicks, and I think they were better. You know what I mean? And they end up. It's funny that does the regular season even matter anymore because of the Heat? We'll see if it plays out. But they had a terrible regular season. Like if you look at some of their stats, it's not like they were that great. They could hardly score.
I mean, if you go by college, it's really a 10 seed playing a 1 seed.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, do you think if the Bucks are a different team from the East, I don't think this was the best team from the East to, match the Nuggets. I think
Absolutely
they just got hot at the right time.
Dude, how many podcasts did we do this year? And they were we were talking about the matchup of Jokic versus the East bigs, right? And then Giannis isn't there, Embiid's not there, right? None of the big guys
That's what I mean.
are there to play them. Boston's not there.
Bam Adebayo actually, he's holding his own, but he's
not as good as those other guys that we just mentioned. You know that.
Well, no, absolutely.
Embiid, that's what I wanted to see. I don't really necessarily like the Sixers.
Him or Giannis, I would love to see match up with Jokic in the finals.
It just wasn't their year, and Nuggets took advantage of it. Let's get to the Chris Paul part here. So as I'm in the Jurassic Park ride, getting ready to go on, I check my phone, and it says that Chris Paul's basically been released by the Phoenix Suns. He's got $30 million left on this year's contract. Obviously, whoever signs him will probably get it a little bit cheaper. Do you think that the Warriors? It's a good idea for them to get him next year, and how much does he really help the Warriors? Are you in on it or not?
Oh man, I don't know if I could ever root for Chris Paul. After watching him play against the Warriors and the Clippers, the Houston, Phoenix. But if he came on the Warriors, I'd probably be he'd be a great fit for him because they don't have really a true backup point guard. I just don't know if Chris Paul would want to play that limited type of minutes. But with him and Steph Curry on the floor, I mean, it could work for a minute, but the defense is going to be hard. You have to get a big man next year if you're going to do that.
So I was going back and forth with Tyler a little bit about this week because I don't think I'm out on it. I don't think I'm like, okay, I'm in on it. I see he brought up the Sean Livingston role as how he could help, but Chris Paul's not Sean Livingston. He's not young like that. He's not big like that. Yeah, he's a better ball handler. I like some of his offensive stuff that he could do differently, that he would definitely help the Warriors. But I don't know, he's never available come the playoffs. And the Warriors don't need guys like that. They need guys that can play multiple minutes for a longer period of time. And I think Paul would be helpful, but I just worry he'd kind of end up like Iguodala and not be available ever.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Brian, what do you think, man?
I don't know. It just depends on what kind of team you're going to have. Are you going to transition to be more of a younger team for the future? Because it's just going to be interesting to see where the Warriors go this offseason. Do they let Draymond Green go, or do they try to get younger and go get a legitimate big man?
I don't think they're going to I think Green ends up back on the Warriors. The more I'm the more this offseason is going, I think he ends up still on the Warriors here. But back to Chris Paul real quick, Brian, with it is, that's funny that could you imagine a team with him and Green on together? I mean, my God, we lead the world in technicals.
I think if Chris Paul signs, Jordan Poole's papers are actually gone.
Yeah, because I don't think Paul's going to sign for the veteran minimum.
I don't either. I just don't see.
I don't think it's going to happen, but I think
you can't have Poole, Curry, and like.
Do you think it helps though? Like that? Let's just say it does. Like I guess I don't know. Like I think Tyler's envisioning 28 minutes. He can play 20 minutes. Let's say probably less than that. 20. Curry gets to play off the ball. He can shoot, but like I don't know. I just for some reason I think that sounds good, but I just don't think it's actually going to play out in reality like that. And I mean, I just think the injury history, but I think the defense where they would just get picked on over and over again against really good teams would make it really hard for Paul to play, especially come playoff time.
If you're gonna get Chris Paul, you might as well get Blake Griffin.
God. Oh God. Blake Griffin too. Could you imagine?
Could you? Yeah, those like that.
Could you imagine a more annoying trio probably for people to
You would think Chris Paul's going to go to like some team that's going to be guaranteed to go to the finals or something. That's what team.
Are you saying the Warriors aren't guaranteed to go to the finals next year?
Not anymore.
We finished in the top 8 still, Ryan.
But I mean, you know, you're not, in my opinion, top 2 in the Western Conference right now.
Brian's just used to the Niners always coming up short.
So. Whoa!
hey, at least we made the playoffs, buddy.
Hey, Warriors made the play.
What'd you do?
Talk about the Raiders. When the last time the Raiders won anywhere?
What'd you do when you got in the playoffs?
I got to follow the bouncing ball here.
I'm sorry. What was that? Choke. Yeah.
Choked it out.
Hey, the Raiders need to make it before you can talk shit.
Hey, we got the same quarterback that led you to the Super Bowl. Maybe he'll do the same for us, but we'll actually win it.
Hey, hopefully he doesn't injure himself in the shower.
Brian, your face after was bad. I love that. Was a good one, actually. There's a good chance that could happen with Jimmy. He's very active.
I'm gonna buy him a rubber ducky just for.
I last thing on Paul here. So Case in or out on him. You're out.
I would not sign him. I don't.
Brian, out?
No, I mean it doesn't make any sense.
Well, I told you, for Tyler, it does. Are you insulting Tyler? Is that? That's the thing. I think because Tyler was really in on it, and that's just a hard one for me to envision the Warriors being able to afford, and then I just don't know how. Again, just that long term. To me, like 3 years ago, right? Like nice. 2 years ago, nice. Like maybe you know what I mean. That kind of range right there. But just now, I just don't think it's. And like you said, the Warriors fan base. I don't think they're huge Paul guys.
No, it's true. I hate Chris Paul.
Exactly.
I think the guy you definitely deserve is LeBron James. Let's see how many fans.
No. Nobody wants LeBron either.
I'll take LeBron.
I know you would. No, I know you would. You love LeBron, but I don't want to. I don't want him.
He's the GOAT. Come on.
I mean, obviously for winning, I'd take him, but he's not going to take a little pay cut in that regard at all.
Well, if LeBron James and Chris Paul come over, now we're having a different conversation.
Case, NBA season's almost over here. It could be over Monday night. So this might be one of our last ones here on the regular season. Then we got the NBA draft to look forward to a little bit. We obviously have Victor. We know he's going to end up on the Spurs. You think that the Hornets are going to take Scoot, but who knows with Jordan running the operation over there. Is he still running? I think he probably is. So we'll see what happens come draft time over there. I'll be following our guys over at No Ceilings. Do a good job with the draft coverage there. All right. Anything else, Case, NBA-wise?
Nah, man. Just hoping for a good game, really. I just want this thing to go 7. I mean, there's no sports really. Baseball's
it's not going 7. It's not.
Yeah, nah. It's I know.
The A's are pathetic.
The A's are terrible.
These are beyond terrible. Hey, they won 4. Hey, Sacktown guy, our guy at Tom. Case, our guy Tom at Sacktown. Does a good job there. He had a good question last week. He does great stuff on Twitter. I had to steal this one from him this week, so I had to shout him out. Be sure to follow him over there. He's really into Sacramento sports. I appreciate that part about Tom. I always have I always see updates about pickleball tournaments. So he's always doing that stuff and running and doing golf. So I just love his energy that he brings to the sporting world here. So let's get to his question of the week here. Best in-stadium game day giveaway you have personally ever received. So you've gone to the game, you've got something from the people there. Is there something that stands out that you really
a free giveaway or something they were selling?
No, you got it for free.
For free.
Yeah, they gave it there at the game, like a bobblehead or something like that. Or maybe a towel or whatever. They used to give like wallets? The A's wallet. I think I still have it.
I think mine was they gave away a Dan Heron bobblehead when I went to an A's game once, so that was pretty cool.
Wow, we'll talk about a name. Dan Heron, A's. I like that. Who did you play for before, Brian, for $20?
The St. Louis Cardinals.
There you go. Who do you play for? Who did the A's trade him to? For $30, who did the A's trade him to? They were your winner. Your winner of the week last week, the Diamondbacks. That was the winner. All right. So I
know they traded him to somebody. They always trade their big stars away.
And Dan Heron was kind of he was one of the guys on the A's. He was like Cy Young candidate when there for one season.
Yeah, Brian,
he ended up winning it, but he was a top 5 finisher. Case, what do you got?
I was gonna say, Brian, you came close to winning the game. What was that, D? I'm sorry.
I said, what's your best in-stadium game day giveaway?
In stadium, I mean, that's what I was thinking when you said like bought or given. I mean, the best one I ever got was the Ricky Henderson poster. I got when he beat Lee Brock. The 939, definitely that's iconic. I've had that since that was my first baseball game I ever went to. So I think that was 91. I was 4 years old, almost 5. But that was pretty epic.
And you still have it.
I still have it, and they give you like the actual documentation. This is how like the 90s worked. They give you a piece of paper that said you were at the game. Like just to
Do you still have that?
Yeah. It's Pamela A. Briare.
That's pretty cool. You should get that. That's pretty sick right there.
Yeah, so that was probably my favorite one. Just like the authentication, like how they actually went about it. Like if you're gonna buy the poster and you're here, you actually have to like literally sign your life away to say that you were at the game.
Have you ever got a bobblehead at a game?
I got one. I got Josh Donaldson, but then his right arm broke. Like he played with like. Now it just looks like
when he got traded, he was dead to you.
There'd be a lot of A's players with some bad right arms right now. That'd be for sure. All the bobbleheads would be in half.
Josh Donaldson, that's a good one. The only bobblehead I've ever gotten is that Chris Mullin one I told you about, but both his heads are gone now. So that's an important part of the bobblehead. So that's probably more important than the right arm. So I had that one, but my favorite one is, I don't know why this one stands out. It's nothing even special, but I think because we still have them, that's John Jaha. It was like a real wooden bat. It was like a legit wooden bat. It was like John Jaha. They had it, it was black. They had the A's like stamp on it. It had his cursive there. But it's like we still have the bats, and we used to use them for baseball all the time. Remember that? So like the fact that they're still around, to me, that's my favorite one.
Today, you can never give away just bats at a stadium.
Let me see if I got it real quick.
20,000 bats at a stadium, Brian, at the Giants.
Oh, man.
That's
an assault waiting to happen.
Oh, man.
That's it right here.
Wow.
Big John. If I can get his name on there.
That's pretty cool.
John Jaha. So it's lasted all these years. It's pretty cool.
Dan, do you remember John Jaha's basically last at bat with the A's?
Did he get a home run and get hurt?
No, it was the playoffs when I think I want to say Clemens. It might not have been Clemens, but threw it like 10 feet over his head, and he just he was too chubby at the time. He couldn't move, and he tore like a muscle. Yeah, he had 30 home runs that year, and I was just like, there goes the end of our season. And if you're saying it,
I do remember that.
Fan, you're like, our best player got hurt, and it's John Jaha. You're probably right. Your season was done to start with.
He was though. He was kind of like their power hitter they had before Giambi kind of took over.
He was like the Jermaine Dye for them.
God, without any of the athleticism.
So that was 2000, right? When he was on that team, when they played the Yankees.
Yeah, that's when they traded for Isringhausen, Jason Isringhausen from the Mets. Was it the Mets? Yeah, they got him from the Mets that year. And
that trade was ridiculously probably one of the best ones they made. Getting Terrence Long, Isringhausen and I forget the other.
And they traded Kenny Rogers.
Wasn't it Velarde or something like that? Like
they traded. Well, that was a separate trade. They got. Was it? Did you say Valverde and the cheese? That was Valverde. Randy Randy Valverde or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Randy Villard. He played second base for him. Yeah, they got him from the Angels. He ended up being good, definitely on steroids, probably. And then they ended up getting one of those Kevin Apier from the Royals that year. And everybody remember baseball tonight was fired up. Peter Gammons, Billy Beans going all in. I mean, so that was a big time for the A's back then.
Yeah, no, that's huge.
That was the start. That was the start and the end.
Man, they're so bad now, man. It's so tough to watch. Like, I mean,
it is.
That's it's like watching Leftovers and you like haven't had 3-4 days and it's got a little bit of green on it. You're like, I still
Let's
might
enjoy John then, Case. Let's just enjoy John. Let's focus on John. We don't have to think about the bad memories there right now. We got John, the best stadium in giveaway. Thanks for our guys, Sacktown. Use that code VSP 15%. Help us out at Variety Sports Network. You'll get a little discount there if you check out anything in their art gallery. So that's our best in stadium giveaway. I thought that was a fun one there. Brian, got any other one that stood out to you?
Yeah, Marcos Scudero bobblehead. I got one of those.
Nice. Is that an A's or Giants one?
That's A's.
There we go. We like it. He played for both teams. A little Marco shot. He did play. And it's funny. He got like one of the biggest playoff hits. Like he was good for the Giants in the playoffs. And one of the biggest playoff hits he got was for the A's too. He batted like 420 in that series and got the game clinching double. So yeah,
I guarantee, Brian, if you said Polo, you still couldn't find him. He can't hear you. He's nowhere around that house.
Hey, Casey, did you guys hear about the LIV tour and the PGA tour merging?
Yeah, there's a lot of.
What do you think about it? You think that the PGA is a hypocrite now? Because I'm also like at the same time, if Saudi Arabia has $620 billion, like you get my point. Like we as a country do business with Saudi Arabia, so like I don't know, like for golfers to do it, it doesn't seem unreasonable in that regard. Like for that, but like I don't know, like PGA was trying to stand on these morals and stuff like that, saying the money is dirty and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it just feels like I don't know. It just feels like they weren't able to. Maybe they just got desperate and felt like they are not going to be able to compete financially, and so at the end of the day, they probably felt like this had to be the best move.
Well, I think if I'm Tiger Woods, I'm pissed because I turned $800 million down to stay with PGA. That'd be my first thing. I just, I mean, it's all about money at the end of the day, right? I mean, what's going to make the biggest profit? How's the income going to come in? And I think PGA is kind of like, I mean, one of the oldest really sports, maybe dating back to baseball, really, over 100 years plus when the game started. So I think they're really stuck in their ways in a sense where they don't want to change. They're being stubborn, but they're going to make the game better. And, it's going to bring all the players together. I mean, shoot, it's almost like a national thing with like Europeans and different races. I think now it's just like, if you make it one big, just epic, all golfers in, I think you're going to get the best of the best.
I don't know. Yeah, no, I think there's some positive to it in that regard. I don't know. It's kind of interesting that PGA just kind of folded the way they were after the comments they made at the beginning at this thing. So
that's what I mean. I think they got backed into a corner, and now they're realizing like, this is like
the players apparently were pissed. They had like a very like contentious meeting. Like they were like called this guy a sellout, and they wanted, what I mean, they called him, and he was like, no, I obviously he just it's money, man. It just always comes down to money talks at the end of the day. And so they probably, for business sake, they probably end up merging like that. Brian, any thoughts on the tours merging together?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's about the money, and that the rich are going to get richer. So,
well, I don't know. Like, I think Casey made a point. Like, I think some of the guys could have got even richer if they knew that they were going to merge earlier. They could have sold out a little earlier, right? Got bigger contracts than they were offered.
Yeah, Brian would know this. It'd be like the WWE not wanting to pay the the wrestlers, and they go to WCW. It's like, hey, and then all of a sudden WCW gets bought out, and you got to go back to WWE for less money. It's like, well, if I knew that we were gonna like get sold out and not care. It's like, oh, might as well go to the biggest brand, make the most bread I can make, and then come back. You know what I mean? After I've made that money. So,
yeah, I remember they did a storyline before WWE bought out WCW where Shane O'Mac ran WCW.
Yeah. No, I remember that. But it's kind of similar, though, if you think about it, because it's two big, like, corporations, and one's kind of new. And, like, Brian knows the history on wrestling. I don't need to explain it, but to our viewers, me and Brian are big wrestling fans. So, WCW, when they came out, they basically ran wrestling ratings for, like, 2 years. And they were paying all the superstars, like, max money. So, they were getting the best of the best. And then eventually the storylines came up, and then, you know, they just went bankruptcy, and Ted Turner, to his fault and his demise, let the NWO wreck shop. And that's kind of what the LIV is doing right now, is they're just running over, you know, all the, you know, just taking over. It's incredible. Like,
what do you think about what Ryan says here? This is the biggest wait and see. If it gets turned into a 3-round team league, then I'm out. Don't fix what ain't broke. I mean, there's that part of it, right? The PGA had, and, you know, some people are like, well, it's a monopoly or whatever, but it's still the best thing for it. Like when the MLB, like it's, I don't know. I'm still questioning the LIV. It's still weird to see music playing in the background where they're playing golf in the shorts. But I mean, I like it, but I'm kind of with Riot a little bit on this one as well. All right, so we got that part with it. I got a question here for you guys. It came up from our guys from Strike from 7 Sports earlier today. So all in their primes of their careers, which wide receiver duo would you take? Marvin Harrison or Reggie Wayne, Larry Fitzgerald or Anquan Bolden, Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, and he put Chad Ochocinco and TJ Who's Your Daddy out there on it as your 4 choices. Who would you guys take in their primes? Obviously, you know who I'm taking.
I'm gonna take Reggie Wayne and Harrison.
Lil
Wayne? Yeah. I'm just saying, like, man, they were elite when they were with Peyton Manning with the Colts.
Who you got, Case?
I gotta go with Bruce and Holt. No doubt. I mean, the greatest show on turf. I mean, come on. Like, that shit was ridiculous, man. They made a movie out of a paper boy. Like, Kurt Warner was unreal, but that whole team with Akeem and just that duo, like that was special. Marshall Faulk
but why not Fitzgerald and Bolden? Like to me, Fitzgerald's maybe better than anybody in that whole group. And then you have Bolden, who maybe is like one of the toughest SOBs to ever play wide receiver. And they had Kurt Warner for like what 2-3 years.
Had Kurt Warner
out. Yeah, and they balled out in those 3 years they had him. That's what I'm saying. I think if either of those duo has Warner the way Wayne and Harrison had Peyton Manning, I think we might be having a different conversation.
I think this is a little biased though because you're a Cardinals fan.
Yeah, exactly.
This is probably true, but
Brian. Yeah,
and it's a little bitterness to Larry Fitzgerald not being drafted by the Raiders.
Probably James Harrison taking that fumble all the way to the end zone.
Who's better, Harrison or Fitzgerald?
Harrison or Fitzgerald?
Yeah, or Bruce.
I think Isaac Bruce is better than all of them.
You think he's the best receiver in that whole group? He was pretty damn good. I'm not going to say that. He was a damn good receiver.
Talent.
Won a Super Bowl with that catch.
I'm actually being biased right now. I would say Fitzgerald, hands down. Bruce, I think, was just a better route runner, like a Jerry Rice type guy.
And that catch, obviously, in the Super Bowl is pretty epic. But then Fitzgerald had his moment, too, except for Big Ben.
I'd say Larry. I mean, I watched him like even through college in Pittsburgh. He was a beast.
So the duo though, you're taking Holt and Bruce together. That's
together, yeah. The best overall those.
So that means Holt to you is better than Bolden. That you said it.
Yeah, I think so. Holt was a beast. People forget how good Holt was.
Yeah, he was. It was good. It was good. Yeah, I remember a random receiver from NC State at the time. That's what I remember thinking. Brian,
I used to have Sunday ticket, and this guy would be over every Sunday. And the first thing he would say is the first thing he would say when he walked in the door, put it on the cards.
We gotta get Bolden. I love Bolden and Fitzgerald. I love those guys on the team. What do you think?
I remember when they had Robert Blake.
Yeah, but let's be honest, you had that spiffy Bengals jacket. You were a fan of Johnson and Who's Your Daddy there for a little bit. I remember that. After those, you would be putting on the Bengals games right after the Cardinals games.
I think he even had a Joe Kitna jersey.
Was it a Joe? I thought it was Jeff
Carson
Blake.
Palmer.
Yeah, I think it might have been Kitna.
No, I think it was Jeff Blake. Do you remember Jeff Blake, the quarterback? He was actually the quarterback for Bolden his rookie year. Yeah, I thought that was kind of a fun question because it kind of was actually pretty even, I thought, in a lot of regards. Usually a lot of them are pretty obvious, but because a lot of people, Casey said Wayne, and if you go through the comments, a lot of people are like, Wayne and Harrison by far, it's not even close. But in my head, it's like it's hard to not say Manning was your quarterback for 10 years. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to separate the two, I feel like.
No, it is tough. I mean, especially when you got that talent of a quarterback. Like, I think there's other wide receiver duos that, it probably could have been better, but it's based on your quarterback. You know what I mean?
Brian, my thing with the Niners here going forward, I was looking at you guys. You guys don't ever get off to hot start. So you keep saying that this team's – I'm with you. They have to get the number one seed, it feels like, at some point for them to win the Super Bowl. Like, they got to be able to make – like, they always get off to these rough starts, and I hate the fact that they play the Steelers to start the year. I think that might be an L to start. Are you with me? You guys have to eventually get off to a good start because you guys need home field advantage. It's critical.
Yeah, I mean, it's set up well where we could because this year we have McCaffrey, and it seems like everybody's healthy going into week one.
Except for the most important position on the field, you're a little unsure about.
I don't know. Everybody's saying Purdy will be ready by week one. So
I love how in August, right, Casey, in June, everybody's healthy. Like even the Raiders guy, McDaniels. I have no anxiety. Bullshit. But that is, you know what I mean? So I don't believe any of that. And then this Lance, I love the Lance Darnold stuff, as you know. So we'll just continue to see how that plays out. But I'm interested to see if you guys can get off to a good start because it's going to be really important. You guys always come out of the gate slow, and that's what worries me with your guys' quarterback situation. I think that you guys could get off to a 2-2 start again or something like that. Don't you think, Case?
I think they're going to go 6-11. I think it's
you're going.
This guy here is like the biggest Niner hater of all time. So whatever he says, don't listen to it. It's kind of
like that. What do you call it? Behind you, it just doesn't actually get set up. You buy it, it looks nice, but try and put together, it doesn't actually get fully assembled. So it's just kind of like the Niners. They get there, but there's no prize at the end, and at least the Raiders just like
or it's kind of like this. It's like when we play the Raiders, we just beat them with this.
Yeah. I can hear you. What?
Do you think the Niners, though, honestly, if we get back, Casey's 6'11", I know you're kind of messing with it a little bit too, but do you think
you're gonna need Bob?
Brian, they might not have a quarterback. They might not have Purdy there to start the year. To me, that matters a little bit. I mean, the defense to me is going to have to show up this year more than a lot of people think. I think I think they're going to be looked upon to be having a massive.
I think you're underrating the offense. The offense will be. Yeah.
I don't know.
The offense has the potential to be top 5 this year in the league.
If Purdy's there.
Everybody says he's going to be ready by week 1. I don't know why this question is even being brought up.
I still think it because he had surgery on it. I feel like it's a good.
What about
Johnson? He's not having surgery on his
Josh Johnson?
You have Greg Papa hating on Lance, hyping up Sam Darnold in the media here.
Why does everyone still love Sam Darnold? I don't get it.
Because they say he has. I guess what he has. They said he's literally. This is what they say. He has the best arm in Niners quarterback history. So I guess he can do a lot of things really well. They said he's only 26. He was the 3rd pick overall, 5th pick overall from the and he went to the Jets. So he has a lot of crappy habits. So I don't know. That's why a lot of people keep hyping it up, and a lot of people had him as in the top 30 still.
Sam Darnold's like Christina Ricci. She's still seeing Casper. He's still seeing ghosts. I can't get over that.
That's why I call him the arm. It's sarcastically. He doesn't have an arm.
Instead of Greg the leg.
Man, Niners fans. Brian, I tried to bring up something different. That's why I said you guys got to get off to a good start this year. That's why I said I don't want to always make it about the quarterbacks, even though
I think we're going to go into Pittsburgh and beat those bums.
No, I don't think it's happening. I think you guys are losing week 1 in Pittsburgh.
I'm not
6-11, Brian.
I'm not afraid of Kenny Pickett.
You
Kenneth
should be afraid of Sam Darnold.
Yeah, well, Sam gets the start. Maybe you're a little bit more worried. So you're telling me what's
Purdy will
Brian's?
be there. Purdy will be there.
Dr. Johnson reporting. What's your quarterback list? Do you go Lance 2, or are you on the Darnold hype and put him at 2 on your list of quarterbacks? Obviously, Purdy's your guy. Are you in it? Because you've been kind of now. I've in our text chain. You're kind of like, well, I don't like Lance as much. I hear he's not, throwing the ball as well. Do you still have him penciled in number 2, or is he now number 3 behind Samuelson?
Oh no, Lance is 2 and Darnold's 3. There's no way I put Darnold.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying every week. I'm mentally trying to see if I can get Samuel in your head. That's the goal. Can we make it happen? In case we mentioned it with the Raiders, they got Jimmy G having the foot surgery here. Could our team be off to a worse start offseason wise? Unbelievable. You weren't here all with me last week to mention it. Just the Raiders continue to do Raiders things. It's unbelievable what happens.
It's amazing. It's shocking, but not really at the same time. It's just like they're so bad at doing these things. It's like the Warriors when they had
they get new people in and they do the same thing.
No, I mean, I think
you're gonna need Bob's trash can because you're gonna be throwing out a lot of tissues this year.
Is it kind of like the Honda cash clunkers?
Oh,
I
think you cut my dad with that comment. You cut him. You don't insult the car, man. After it was dead, right. The car was dead, and he insulted it. Yeah.
It was not dead. Come on.
Oh, it was dead. That car was dead at that point. It's funny. That's
tough, though. It's tough to watch, though. Just the Raiders, like.
Do you think Jimmy G could give the Raiders? If he's, let's say, Brian's probably right. He's not going to be healthy, but do you think they can get the playoffs this year? Brian, what was your question you had for us? We can maybe throw.
I said 2 teams from the AFC and NFC that didn't make the playoffs last year that make it this year.
Can the Raiders be one of those cases?
No.
Jimmy G, looking out. We see Jacobs, touchdown. We got Adams, touchdown. Come on, let's dream big a little bit.
Every time I say the Raiders, I'm the biggest optimist, like glass half full. Sometimes it spills over because I'm so full of it, but it just I got the Titans and the Packers. Or not the Titans and the Packers. Titans and the Jets, and then from the
We're gonna hit a lot of singles with Jimmy. Casey, remember my theory? I said maybe Jimmy G is the type of player that you bring in just to make other players around him better. It's so bad that
I mean, as long as Brian comes over on Saturday nights and feeds them grapes, he might have a chance.
If he gives him his grapes over there,
give him the purple grapes too.
Do you think Adams ends up fresh? I don't know. He's the one that I
think he's gonna leave.
Oh man, I get this vibe that he's like. He just doesn't want to be there at all.
Either that or Jimmy G's going to throw it 180 times, 220 times soon, just like on quick slants.
Little 4-footers.
Yeah, just it's going to be just slants for days, like what you do in Madden. Hook and go and slants. And then once in a while, go route.
Don't underestimate the running back curls.
Halfback smash.
If Jimmy's passing too much, it's not good. You have to run a lot with him.
Well, that's a good thing because we have a good running back. We have Jacob. Yeah. We have Colton Miller blocking on the left side. We have decent offensive line, run wise, pass blocking. I don't know.
Leatherhead, as Tyler calls him.
Casey, I just get frustrated that Hoyer's our back. I wish they would have just kept the other guy as the backup. Stedman. Stedman. I wish they would have kept Stedman.
I would take Brian or Tyler as the backup.
So Brian said that question about 2 guys that didn't make it. Or 2 teams that didn't make it last year that could make it this year in the AFC, NFC. You got any teams that stand out to you in that?
Yeah, I was saying the Titans and the Jets.
The Titans?
Yeah, I think so.
Really?
I'm going with the Jets and the Ravens because I think that Lamar Jackson will be healthy this year. So the Ravens, they got Odell Beckham and they'll be back in the playoffs.
So the Jets and the Ravens, those kind of seem like your kind of obvious choices there, you know what I mean, in a sense, because they were so
who do you want me to say the Broncos?
Russell Wilson, come on, man. Don't you have any faith in Russell? Can't he get in? I want you to say Las Vegas. Damn it. I want you to start believing in Jimmy again.
And then in the NFC, I have your boy Derek Carr with the Saints. I think the Saints are going to make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Especially since John's.
How about the Patriots? If they get Hopkins, then they have Mac. They got Bill playing for his job at New England apparently over there. Is that what they may get Hopkins over there? And I saw one Vegas book earlier. They were possibly the favorite in one regard. Somebody had some money on them. They probably didn't get much money if the favorite. But what do you think about the Patriots? Do you think you can get in there?
Patriots gonna suck.
Nah.
Tyler says the Colts are either going to be a disaster or win the division. What do you think of that, Brian?
You can't have either one.
Win the division? No way. No way.
It's the AFC South. It's not like it's like out of Casey.
It's pretty bad. The AFC South.
Casey has the Titans jumping in.
Brian's got
not even hitting a net. Casey.
Brian's got a better chance of using that machine behind him than the Colts.
And the other team in the NFC, I think that's going to make the playoffs this year is the Chicago Bears. I just like their additions in the offseason. They got DJ Moore.
So. Brian, that might be a good prediction because I was just watching Kicking and Screaming. I did see that.
That's Mike Ditka saying, he said to go get me a juice box.
Juice box, boy. Give me a juice box. How about the Steelers after they get off to a good start with that game, that week 1 victory over the Niners? Do you think they kind of roll that into some moves later in the season and then end up making the playoffs there one team out of it? They're always in the hunt, right?
They're going to be 0-1, not 1-0.
We got our guy here, John from Out of Your Falcon Mind podcast. They do a great show over there. Be sure to check them out. I think he just got back from the Hall of Fame later. It sounded like, so it looks like I'm jealous of that. Going to as great as Disneyland is, and the Hall of Fame is a little bit higher on the list there. I'll say this: I will not be driving from here to New York. After doing LA, we're definitely not making that trip.
Well, especially with the smoke over in New York. Hell no.
Yeah, that was crazy there. Speaking of, I actually wrote down. It's funny that he chimed in at that moment. Let's go to the NFC then with that. So, Brian, what do you think, real quick though, with the Steelers? Do you think they get that week 1 win, like I said, and then do they end up making the playoffs?
Like I keep saying, no, they're not going to get it. The Niners are going to be 1-0. I know you really want the Steelers to win, so you have a podcast of me pissed off and
I'm not trying to
calling for Shanny's head after week 1.
I know you will be if they lose. So that's the best part about it. Then we'll start to realize.
Brian's going to be like Ben Stiller at the end of Dodgeball. Fucking shit.
Of course.
Big old bucket of chicken.
What do you think about let's go to the NFC teams that didn't make it last year? Brian, I'm assuming you're going to go with the Lions as one of them.
No, remember I said the Saints and the Bears.
So you don't have the Lions jumping in there?
No, I like what Chicago did better this offseason than the Lions did.
See, the Saints, they have Carr, though. That's why I don't think they can make the playoffs. I don't think they can make it with Carr. I just don't.
Carr for you is like Jimmy was for me.
I don't believe in him as the quarterback for your team. So he might put up good numbers and stuff, but I don't think the Saints are winning. What do you think of our guy, the Falcons? They had a good offseason, though. They got a lot of good players. They had that running back that they took from Texas. It sounds
I'm just not sold on Desmond Ridder.
Yeah. Case, any thoughts on the NFC there?
I think the Lions are going to make the NFC championship game.
Wow. Jared Goff confidence right there. We're going all the way. Casey with these
that's a Casey prediction. He actually did. He was right one year. He said the Browns were going to go 10-6, and they did.
I'm always right. What are you talking about? Come on now.
Dude,
I predicted 3 out of the last 4 champions. Come on.
We got to get bold here. I like it.
No, I think the Lions, and then honestly, kind of a surprise team to me is I kind of thought about it a little bit, and they're kind of like I think they're going to reboot a little bit, and it's kind of crazy to think this, but I think the Rams are going to come back into the picture.
Yeah, that would be in NFL. You never know. Like that's the weirdest thing, and they still have Stafford. But man, his arm looked okay. If you call Mac Jones noodle arm, I don't know what Stafford was last year.
I think he was hurt. I mean, you could tell he was playing injured.
Oh yeah.
I wrote down.
I wrote down the
Especially
Lions.
like the Niners, they're 6-11.
Rams are junk.
The
Rams are junk.
I have the Lions and the Falcons making it, Case. I have the Falcons getting in. Maybe it's because of John there. I watch their show, so I'm getting on the Falcons, getting brainwashed a little here. I gotta get brainwashed by the Falcons, but I do like some of their things. And the main reason is the way they play is kind of a running style. And I feel like in the NFC South, with not being with a rookie quarterback probably on the Panthers, who we haven't really talked about possibly getting in as well. I do think there's a spot for them to get in because they won a lot of close games, and maybe Ritter does take a little better jump. It's better than Mariota as your quarterback. So I think there's a chance that the Falcons do get in. And what 12 teams get in now from each conference? No, but you get my point. Like, I think there's a chance they get. That's what I have. So I have Lions.
I think the scariest team though left in the NFL that hasn't made the playoffs, or they made the playoffs, but basically they played like the Niners, is the Dolphins.
Oh God,
the Dolphins.
I mean, because
they're not going anywhere with Tua.
Well, it's better than their third, fourth-string quarterback playing in the playoffs.
He did pretty good. They almost beat.
I know he did pretty good, but that's like, I mean, come on now. Like, the Niners would have had a better chance with McCaffrey than Josh Johnson playing. Like,
they didn't even throw the ball at McCaffrey. They definitely did have a better chance with McCaffrey. They should have tried to throw it.
He's gonna keep bringing up that Eagles NFC Championship game till I die.
That part was Jimmy G smiling on the sideline.
Brian still fed him grapes after the game.
No way. I said, get out of here.
He still fed him grapes. Is there any chance like a team like I'm gonna get crazy here? What do you think like a team like the Broncos though now with Sean Payton as the coach? Does that make obviously he's possibly a Hall of Fame coach looked upon as that type of level. So you think there's a chance that he gets the Broncos back on track? What did we say? They made 40 red zone appearances all last year, something like stupid low.
I mean, I just think the Chiefs, we doubted them last year. They're not going away for it. As long as Patrick Mahomes wants to play football, everyone in the AFC.
Russell Wilson brought a championship to Denver. What are you talking about? The Nuggets are going to win. So do you think he can do the same? You think this year now get Sean Payton back? Like, you think like they got good receivers, right? Like nothing with them. They're out.
I don't know. I heard Russell Wilson leaned up a lot this offseason, so maybe that. I don't know. I'm not trying to throw a cheap shot at him, but
he leaned up. Well, what did he do? What did he do? Push-ups on the plane all the time, right? That kind of stuff. So, I don't know. That'd be my other team there, Case.
I don't worry about his weight. I just worry if he can throw to the right team.
That's a good one. Do the Packers can he bring some love, or are they done now, Brian?
No, I don't see the Packers making the playoffs with Love as the first.
I mean, come on, the NFC North is not like is the because the Vikings, are they intimidated? They gotta let Cook go. Like I feel like some of these divisions aren't now with Rodgers out. It changes that whole division to me.
Yeah, I could see the Bears winning that division.
The Bears out of all the teams.
I just see the Vikings. The Vikings just keep rolling, winning their 10, 11 games and losing the playoffs in the first, second round every year. Like
it's amazing. It's kind of like the Dolphins were for us, but they have not as good a quarterback as Marino. But they always made the playoffs like a whole life growing up. You know what I mean?
Dan Marino just wants to slap you for even putting.
I'm not comparing you to Kirk. I'm just saying the team's always lost in the round. And they were consistently in all the time. All right, so that was a good one there, Brian. You got any other teams there with the NFL or anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I think we touched all the subjects.
Well, hopefully we didn't do too much touching there. What do you think about nobody mentioned the Browns. You don't think Watson gets back in there? I mean, you don't think that with their receivers, they can't jump back in the playoffs either?
That was a good transition there, Darren.
I don't know. That's just what I thought. I thought the Browns were on there. I thought the Browns were one of the teams there.
Well, not too much touching, but
all right. Well,
I don't even think you're going to say that, but all right.
That's great.
Let's
just don't touch me.
Is that the Browns bumper stickers? Is that what they have going on? So, all right, we're gonna stop on my head because you know me. If we get going up,
yellow, it's mellow.
We keep going here. We'll get riled up forever. So NFL, like I said, training camp, get ready to start here soon here in July. So
And then we
Brian,
got
I know you're fired up. Brian, do you watch
in August.
Brian, do you watch all the preseason games, or you just watch the Niners?
Yeah, I mean they show them all on the NFL Network, so
Well, I just want to know
watch
your
them.
passion, your love, your energy, your desire
Yeah,
towards the
exactly.
NFL. I just want to know where you're at with it. I'll do that with basketball and stuff like that. And
I don't know when it gets to like the third and fourth quarter, then it's pretty bad because you got these guys that probably won't even make the team.
Are you going to take notes this year? For talking the gridiron. I want those fourth string guys. I want to know. They came from Wichita, Kansas. All right, so we got that going on. Hey, I got a question there for you. I said you had some random ones go with it this week. Name a restaurant from your childhood that's not around anymore. This guy, I like some of these random questions. What's a restaurant that stood out as a childhood to you that's not around anymore? Case, the one that stands out to me is Hungry Hunter.
The one that burned
Hunter
down?
Steakhouse, right there. Now they turned it into a mansion, or not a mansion, a haunted house.
No, it's El Pollo Loco now.
Now it is, but remember that it was a haunted house for a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's right.
What'd you say it is now?
No, it's El Pollo Loco.
Yeah, is it like you got another one there, Brian?
The
Cricklewood.
crazy chicken.
Brian, you got one that stands out?
There used to be a pizza restaurant called it was like the Pizza Hat or something, or the
Pizza Hats.
Yeah.
I've lived in Larkspur my whole life. Never had a Pizza Hat.
Do you still have the memorabilia?
I remember Igby's. That's not around anymore. Remember Igby's? Case that was a pizza place.
Igby's, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was called Straw Hat Pizza.
Straw Hat Pizza. Was that in Larkfield, the area?
It was in Santa Rosa, but they would give you actually straw hats to wear when you're there.
What an idea! What an idea! What do you got, Casey? You have one?
Would you walk with Dorothy on the way home?
He's on fire. Pizza Gourmet. I hated that place. I hated that
Pizza Gourmet for sure. Oh,
you like that pizza?
Tyler remembers that, and so do you. The corduroy pants for me, goddamn button would just not come off.
That was that place that was that random.
That's the only time in my life.
High school.
That's the only time I've ever been embarrassed truly in my life is when I peed my pants at Pizza Gourmet. And you, Tyler, and my dad. I know, but I'm being real as real can be. But like corduroy pants back in the day were the worst. The zipper would get stuck, the button would not open. Like it's like you're like finally coming into your own at like 13. You just won the like MVP from your soccer team, and then like all three you have to walk me out like in like a huddle like John Madden. You just huddle for like 40, 50 steps out the restaurant.
That's hilarious. Pizza Gourmet, that's a good one, Tyler. I forgot about that place.
Mine would be though Taco Time.
Taco Time. I forgot about that place. Yeah.
Taco Bell before Taco Time. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good place over there. I like that. Cricklewood, that's not there anymore, right? A legend. Hey, what's the guy that's famous here from Santa Rosa? The blonde chef.
Guy Fieri.
Yeah, he did what's the show? The famous one, Driver's Dine and Dies. Yeah. He did one of his episodes at Cricklewood over there with the French onion soup, right?
The good one was for a hot minute was Johnny Garlic's.
Johnny Garlic's was a good one for a while.
Is Tex Wasabi still around?
What did you say? Yeah, no, Tex
Wasabi.
No, it is not around. Disappointing. I think there might. I don't think there's any more left. I was going to say maybe there's one in the Bay Area, but if you expand it out that way, but I don't think there's any left. Yeah, it's so funny that he's from our hometown, Guy Fieri, Santa Rosa. So we have like these random good little restaurants that he built around.
Arby's up there.
Arby's. No noodles and shit. I thought it was at Luigi's. I forgot Luigi's. Oh, was that the place at Healdsburg? That might be that other place. I think that place is still going, but I can't count that one. So I thought that was a fun question because you get to look back on places that aren't around and like restaurants. Because it's funny, you go to these places for 20 years and then they end up closing. They're not there anymore.
Yeah.
Text the triangle offense right there. This is a Straw Hat, Brian. I love that. It's like, what's the Mexican restaurant here? They get Chevys, right? You get the hat there. Oh, so it's kind of the same concept. I guess they stole that idea. That's hilarious.
Casey was getting too crazy, so they decided to blank him out.
West Side Grill. That's not there anymore?
Oh,
Is
that's
that
still there too.
yeah.
Over off of Pioneer, or they shut down, and then I think there's one more though. I think it's on 4th Street, but it's called Osceolos.
Well, that's
It's
not
kind
West
of
Side.
like, no, but they're the same owners, but they switched over. But it used to be there.
Ryan took me to a good place over there one time. Out by Oakmont, we went to a good like bar out there. That was a fun one.
Isn't that for
All
old
right, so I thought that was a fun question there. With that,
Hey, you're popping, Casey.
yeah, Case, come back in, jump off, and then come back on here in a second. All right, yeah. See, could close during the pandemic. Maybe that's exactly. That was everything there during the time. Yeah, they got there's Brian there. I went to this week. I went to Big Boys. Have you heard of Big Boys Burgers?
Oh yeah, the burger place.
And I forgot he was in Austin Powers too.
Yeah.
But I forgot the whole bad guy part was wrapped around him being like the Rocket, right? That was the idea. Like he was
that was his ship when he went up, and it was a big boy.
We went to the original Big Boy at 10 o'clock at night. Family all. They have the double Big Boy burger there. We got Lynette. She looked like the 75-year-old waitress there, probably been working there for 40 years. Good stuff. Honey, you want the coffee topped off? I liked all that. So it was a good time there at Big Boy Restaurant over there in LA. So anyways, I thought that was kind of fun doing that over there. Brian, one last question before we kind of get to the end part of our show here. I saw that Roger Craig passed away. You remember him, the Hum Baby guy from the Giants? Yeah. I saw he passed away. In case we were talking about Roger Craig, remember the Giants manager? Hum Baby. I saw he passed away this week at 83. I just thought it was when I saw that, I was like, man, it just that movie obviously Battle of the Bay. Hum Baby. You heard that all the time. That was a big deal with the song. You heard that all the time growing up on the radio. Here, even though we weren't Giants fans, we always still were listening to him. And of course, our family all around us were Giants fans. So we heard that all the time. I played for the Mets. No, and I think he coached maybe the Mets too. So just found it kind of sad he passed away. One of those guys that I know us living here in the Bay Area, we've talked about his name many times.
Oh yeah, no doubt, man. I mean, you think about like Bay Area managers. I mean, he's got to go hands down easily one of the best that there is, right? I mean, to lead a team like the Giants, and I mean they were so stacked for that 5-year period. I mean, it was pretty much a dynasty. They just could only pull together, just that one, and
it's crazy. And it's crazy that he was known for being like such a player's coach, and then like he has that saying "Hum Baby" that's gonna be around forever. Just that little saying is gonna be around. So I also remember on Brian, he'd like wear the uniform, but he'd have this like jacket underneath it once in a while. It was like the weirdest like long sleeve shirt. He'd have this thing. Anything about Roger Craig stand out to you?
I just remember in '89, our teacher letting us watch the Cubs Giants when the Giants clinched the NLCS.
Yeah.
No, that was always a great memory.
Damn, you hella old, bro. You remember
that? All right.
Yeah, I know. I was around since the dinosaurs.
Casey, just so that Ryan says West Side was closed during the pandemic there. So just to let you know. All right. Hey, so real quickly, a couple things we'll get out of here with it. Let's go Disneyland review here. All right. So I go to Disneyland this week over there. Absolutely unreal, like packed out of its mind. Like it's hard to believe that many people can actually go to one spot at one time, right? They're crazy. The rides though were out of their mind. Some of them you go on and you're like, that's it. Yeah, I waited an hour and a half for that. But at the Jurassic Park and Universal Studios was sick. The Cars ride at Disneyland California Adventure is a must. You got to hit that one up for sure. So those would be the rides I say you definitely got to hit if you go to Disneyland over there. Brian, when's the last time you went to Disneyland?
It's been a while since I think I was 4 or 5 years old.
Good God, man. And you lived in LA or Anaheim your whole time. You never even gone there just to go on the rides?
No, I mean, I don't know. It's probably something you would just go with other people.
I underrate walking around and standing now after doing that. Like you walk that first day, man, I was toasted. My quads the next morning. I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, am I this out of shape from walking? I'm just literally walking around. But I think it's the standing that gets you. You're in line all the time. The longest line we had to wait was like an hour and a half I think for the Jurassic Park line, that one was forever. That one just took absolutely forever to get on. But it was still overall, I would say Cars was the absolutely best ride. I was going to say, what do I think was the next one? I would say probably there's one called it was like the Incredibles ride. I didn't go on it, but it looks sick. I just didn't make it. They just start you out literally going it's like 60 miles per hour up the ramp. I mean, you want to talk about getting an adrenaline rush. Kudos to my son, Derek. Let's see, who went on? Derek, my dad, and my sister went on every single ride there. And my sister's boyfriend went on that one. But those three went on every ride. But I'm telling you, this Incredibles ride, I don't know if anybody's been on it that's listening to the chat here. This thing it gets you moving from the get-go. And I love the little kid's voice. He starts out, he goes like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, thing. Like they got you just like shoot out. So that ride looked like it was pretty sick as well.
What I always notice driving around is like all the shuttles going to Disneyland.
Dude, it's insane. That's the one thing I'm blown away with how much the money that it costs to go there. I don't know how people can go there more than once a year. Like you must never stay. And we stayed at the place for one night, but just even if you just go to the park, like I know you can bring your own food in, but if you want to just, I'm thinking that people want to go there to like get food or I don't know, like buy gift stuff there. The prices are insane. Like literally a beer was $16. Wow. It's like literally going to a baseball game. And I did get a souvenir Jurassic Park cup for $19 beer. So that was, I'm in my head, I was like, this better be the best day of beer ever. So that's the one thing when you go to Disneyland, you got the prices there, but it was pretty fun. Obviously with the little kids, you're able to do something like the little kid rides there. And I don't know, Disneyland, it's kind of it's one of these things I feel like I just don't think I could do it more than once every couple of years.
Yeah, it'd be kind of crazy to do it.
Like Tyler, I know
some people have season passes, so they go all the time.
$16, John, out of your mind with it. I still needed the beer, so I bought it. you start that at 7 o'clock, man. You get to 4, you get to 3, you get to 2 o'clock there. You need a beer. You gotta sit down, have a teddy, relax, and you get going again. Because that first night we were there all the way till midnight. The first night, so it was crazy. The second night, the park we went to closed at 10, but it just goes full get go. It's hell fun to do one time, though. I mean, and I'm really grateful, obviously, with my parents. They were able to help us out with a lot of that stuff, too. So it was cool to go with them. And obviously, Amanda. So it was fun to hang out with them with it. So Casey was like, at the beginning, he's like, I didn't get to go on the trip. I was like, man, you had to wait your turn. Because when I was younger, I never got to go on any of the trips because I was at the JC started school. So it is what it is. What do you say? We hit up some breweries here in New York, and that was cheaper. Yeah, I should have gone to some breweries. The problem is you go to get a beer inside the freaking park, and they just absolutely, you know what? They just take advantage of everything. Like the prices there. I remember I bought a pin, like just a simple pin. I looked at the price. I was like, $20. Oh my god! They said it's a collection though. Collection, Brian. They only made 2,000 of these. Yeah, a New York brewery. I should have gone to the breweries outside of Disneyland. That's what I probably.
Yeah, there's 2 of them across from Angel Stadium.
What's the best brewery there in Anaheim?
I'd say Golden Road. They make good beer.
You know me, I'm Hen House out here. We got to get the Hen House Brewery. That's right. I got to get them as a sponsor. I have like 95 stickers of them behind me here. So Brian, I thought that was kind of the best part of Disneyland. Like but the best part was just hanging out with the kids. And my favorite part was at night. Like it was like 20 minutes left before the park closed. And my son Xavier, he's like, Dad, he's 7. So let's go on the Cars ride for the second time. And I'm like, you're dragging. But we end up running to the start of the line. We make it. We sit there for another 35 minutes. He loves it. So those are like the memories that come with places like that. So like I said, once in a lifetime trip. I haven't gone for 30 years. So I keep joking. 30 more years, I'll take my kids there. So as the grandparent, I'll return the favor as a grandparent. I got to get out to the Hall of Fame. That's the one I got to get to next up there. I got to get a reason to go to New York. That's the big thing. Got to get a reason to go to New York. I do have some family out there randomly, but more on the second side. Brian, the other thing I found funny was, like I said, they have no stickers there. The one thing I wanted was a sticker. They don't sell stickers at all because of the custodial nightmare, they said. So couldn't get any stickers from Disneyland, which I thought was absolutely – I don't know, just out of all the things they sell there. And I'm like, I thought they'd easily have a sticker, but apparently not. Don't have a sticker there at Disneyland. And then, like I said, driving there, though, is insane. It's crazy, man. Like, I just don't know how people – I don't know how people like you have done that your whole life driving around. And
yeah, I know. It's crazy. The traffic.
How many accidents have you ever been in there? Have you ever been in – there's got to be accidents all the time there.
Yeah, I just see them all the time, every day on the side of the road. It's people not giving people enough room.
We did go down to Rodeo Drive because I stayed with my mom's cousin Jay and Rachel. Thank you to them for hosting us out there. Nice view on LA mountain. They kind of live off of Mulholland Drive, which is obviously a very long road. But he took us kind of down the tour there in LA. That's where he grew up. And he went to USC over there. But he took us to Rodeo Drive, all around those houses down there, Bel Air area. LA, man, it's just a different world down there. It's so freaking massive, and it's so differently. You go to different areas, and like 1 second you got these $1 million houses. 5 seconds later, you got these houses that don't look as nice, but they're still $3 million houses. It's crazy.
Yeah.
LA's just nuts like that. So I don't know. Just insane to me. I don't know how you've done it all this time there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You just get used to it after a while.
With my sister, she likes some random show. Just the name alone makes me. It's called Vanderpump something. I don't know what it is.
Vanderpump Rules.
So obviously you're familiar with it. She went down to the restaurant and stuff. Went there with her boyfriend, and so they checked that over there. I definitely did not check that out. So that was the fun stuff at Disneyland. California Adventure, though, is definitely a little bit more adult oriented, like just a little bit more. So that one I definitely enjoyed a little bit more from my perspective, but. It was awesome going on it. The right man, but I'm telling you, it takes like an army to watch everybody. If you went there with infants or like 4 kids, like my wife did a great job with it, obviously, but she, it's like hard. It's like man-to-man defense with all these kids, and you have so many, and they can easily get distracted. So it's like you're constantly on to at the same time. Like, all right, where are they at? Where are they at? So, like, thank God when we got home yesterday. So it is what it is. Fun trip. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Dad. Thank you going with it. So that's my Disneyland review there with it. Brian, you got any last thoughts on it?
I can imagine it was crazy just with your watching your kids and just making sure they don't run off.
Dude, it was nuts in that regard. All right, let's get to our winners and losers of the week this week. We'll get out of here. Appreciate anybody that's been joining us today on the show. Like I said, make sure you guys check out a lot of different podcasts. We brought up my guy Logan. Appreciate you tuning in. Ryan, of course, tuning in with your comments. Tyler, John, of course, hanging with us here today. Casey being on the show as well. So appreciate you guys. I got P Shark too. Want to shout him out. Let's Be Real podcast. He's doing some great things there. Be sure to shout out him, and my guy Terrell. Obviously, always want to shout out him as well. Can't wait to be on his show next time. And then Jimmy and Nico, far into the bench. Big night tonight. Hopefully they get that win in Denver. They celebrate another championship like they did with the Avalanche last year. Brian, your winner of the week.
My winner of the week is the Denver Nuggets. They're 1 win from the NBA championship, and it's a long way from never making the NBA finals.
The Nuggets used to be the biggest joke in the world. That franchise used to be absolutely looked at as, to me, like in the Clippers territory and Warriors territory at that time when we were first growing up. They were absolutely awful. My winner of the week, we already kind of mentioned Roger Craig. We weren't here for Al Pacino last week. Unbelievable. You got somebody pregnant. A's on fire. 4 in a row, Brian. 4 in a row? Whoa. Break them up. Unbelievable here. But I also say winner of the week, Josh Edwards. Thanks. You sent me a message this week, giving me a little update on the A's stadium. I love it. Nevada's starting to fight back a little bit, Brian. They're kind of saying, well, these guys look like little scumbags. You know what I mean? Little weenies. So I'm glad maybe people are starting to find this out about the A's ownership. And it makes me sick again that Manfred's in bed with them. I do not understand that at all. These guys are pathetic. And so I'm glad Nevada is calling them out on it. I hope they stick to what the public wants. They do not want them there. You can see that they don't want them there. They do not want to use tax money on them. And he shouldn't have to use tax money. He's a freaking billionaire. So I like that the part that you saw some of the cuts of the lawmakers going at him. That was fun to watch.
Wow, that's cool.
They were roasted him, man. They had some public people say like he's a snake and all that. So it was good stuff there. But I hope that they can end up coming through with the NBA draft season, liking that. I don't know if he ended up winning. I got to check right now, but I think Joker did he end up winning again today? Probably the French Open. I mean, this guy is insane, right, Brian? He ends up winning the French Open every year.
Yeah.
What he's
Djokovic.
He won the first round 7-6, second round 6-3. He's up 6-5. Looks like he's gonna end up pulling out again another major. So winner of the week to him. Even while he's getting booed in France during the French Open. So I gotta go Joker winner of the week. Loser of the week, Brian. Who you got?
I'm gonna go with the Padres. I've been disappointed with this team all year. hopefully they turn it around the second half. But I expected them to be better than this.
Is this 2 weeks in a row with pods? Are we gonna go 3 next week? We gotta go San Diego Vine pods. What was it? Winner of the week? You did that one time earlier. Or no, it was Tyler that was kept doing that with the team. All right, so you got them for loser of the week. It'll be interesting with the Padres too, though. Like I said, I think the second half is where you're really going to see with that. I just feel like Bob Melvin tends to coach teams that make bigger runs in the second half as well. Loser of the week, I got Judge injury against the Dodgers. That was disappointing. Does it on the catch, breaks his toe there. He's out. To me, he's obviously just the best player to watch. So it's always to me frustrating when he goes down with injury, but obviously that is part of his career. Gets the big contract. I like this one. I had this one on there as well. The Mets, they get swept by the Braves. They haven't won all. They're on a massive losing streak. Steve Cohen says he's not going to panic. They're not going to break up the team. This is why baseball, you pay for a championship. It doesn't always work that way. It doesn't work in baseball like that. Like, I know people used to think the Yankees would buy him, but it was all set up from their nucleus they had that they didn't buy. You know what I mean? It was set up by Bernie Williams, Jeter, all those guys. So the Mets, big time loser of the week. You think Steve Cohen's, how pissed do you think he is? Buck Showalter, does he last the whole year?
The way it's going, I don't see it. I mean, they had a lot of expectations with this team going into this year.
And you can't. Baseball is so important to buy. You can't buy. And baseball is 162 of these things. You're traveling all the time. Like, it's just, it doesn't work that way. You know what I mean? And like when you get older pitchers, like where Verlander and Scherzer changing teams, sometimes it doesn't fit the same way as they were there for a couple of years. I mean, sometimes it works, but it usually doesn't. I feel like it's all set up from the core there in that regard. Because like I said, the Yankees are always the best thing for me to think about. So loser of the week, I have Judge's injury. Also, Cook getting cut. Running backs in general. Running backs continue to be the most disrespected position in all of NFL. We got to run the ball. We got to run the ball, but we don't want to pay these guys. So Cook's gone. Where do you think he ends up?
I see Miami, but also Elliott's still available. No one's touched him either.
Well, don't you think Elliott's done though?
Yeah, he is kind of done, but I'm just saying from like a running back perspective, it's just I'm surprised no one would want to kick 1 year on him.
Just like with Hopkins, he might be waiting for injuries to occur. You know what I mean? So maybe Elliott's waiting for something like that. But the Cook's pretty good still, I would think. I think he still have a year or two left in him.
He definitely seems like a Miami. He'd be going to Miami.
I said Seattle. I know they have a good running back already, but I could see Seattle getting him too. Maybe going to two-head monster over there with it. I don't know. So that's who I got with our losers of the week. Brian, we've been on here a little bit longer than we usually do, but it was fun. We had a lot to go into. We had a lot of comments. Like I said,
it was cool having Casey on here too.
Yeah, Casey jumped on. Obviously, he got his pops. We got the Rice Krispies going on there. He always gets that once in a while with the crackle pop there with it. But like I said, appreciate everybody that tuned in today with it. Like I said, John, Out of Your Mountain Falcon podcast. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Hopefully, we can get you on here in a little bit, sir. Maybe talk a little Falcons, little Braves, baseball. As you know, on our pod, we kind of touch on a little bit of everything. So,
yeah, exactly.
Brian, appreciate you coming in, man. Hopefully, you have a good Sunday as well. Brian, next Sunday, Father's Day. Father's Day. This is the biggest episode yet. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. So next week, Father's Day, we'll be doing it. We'll do it Sunday morning. That's the plan for right now. Brian, until next week, my friend.
All right, peace.
Peace.